The deep blue. It's not just a color, it's a feeling. The clock strikes 12 and the world turns a sapphire hue, a shade of midnight that belongs only to the few. It's the color of the ink in a letter never mailed, the color of the hope that has silently prevailed. I see it in the shadows stretching long across the floor, a silent ocean washing up against my lonely door. It isn't cold, it's a warmth that wraps around the bone, a beautiful companion when you're feeling all alone. The sky is like a velvet cloth with sequins made of stars, watching over all the dreamers and the empty bars. I breathe in the indigo and let the spirit breathe, leaving all the tangled webs that we always weave. The blue is in the air, it's a perfume made of mist, a magical encounter that the morning hasn't kissed. It's the resonance of silence, the vibration of the night, extinguishing the glare of the artificial light. Deep blue, so true, washing over me and you. Midnight indigo, let the heavy feelings go. Midnight blue, the rhythm of the weeping soul, the only thing that makes the broken spirit whole. A tapestry of sound in a minor key, the true reflection of the inner mystery. The organ groans a melody that's earthy and it's deep, awakening the secrets that the weary people keep. It sounds like gospel, sounds like rain upon a tin roof, a spiritual experience, the only living proof that pain can be a beauty if you play it on the keys, a prayer that is carried on the midnight autumn breeze. I find my sanctuary in the center of the chord, a treasure that a king or queen could never quite afford. The guitar strings are singing like a voice from long ago, telling us the things that only bluesmen really know, about the long and winding road, the heart that went astray, and how the music led us back to find a better way. The blue is getting darker, it's a royal kind of shade, the finest decoration that the universe has made. I surrender to the current and I let the rhythm lead. reflection of the inner mystery. Indigo sky, don't pass me by. Maybe the blue is just the space between the human breath, a bridge between the living and the mystery of death. It softens every jagged edge and heals the hidden scar, better than a sermon or a brightly shining star. I see it in your eyes when the words have ceased to be, a common language shared between the ocean and the sea. It's the quiet before morning, the peace before the storm, a sanctuary where the weary spirit can transform. So let the hammer swirl and let the saxophone play, transforming all the losses into a spiritual gain. The midnight blue is here to stay, it's part of who we are, a map of the experience, and every single scar I wrap myself inside it like.
There's a monster in the corner made of mahogany and steel, giving every person in the room a brand new way to feel. The Leslie spinning round and round, a whirlwind in the ear, chasing out the static and the winter's frozen fear. The players' hands are dancing on the double keyboard rolls, where the rhythm starts and where the melody exactly goes. It's got that greasy feeling like a southern Sunday meal, making the connection that is visceral and real. Yeah. The guitar man is answering with a sting and with a bite, igniting every corner of the heavy city night. It sounds like city pavement and it sounds like holy ground, the most infectious rhythm that the human ever found. It's got a bit of gospel and it's got a bit of dirt, a rhythm that will heal you from the sorrow and the hurt. We're not into the cadence, we are swaying to the beat, feeling the vibration from the head down to the feet. Get on up, settle in, let the Hammond Groove begin. Shuffle left, shuffle right, rocking through the Saturday night. The Hammond Groove, a greasy piece of soul, taking back the spirit and the absolute control. A spinning, swirling, happy kind of sonic hurricane, washing out the worry and the temporary pain. People moving on the tiny little floor, they've forgotten all the things they were worrying before. The music is a medicine that's dispensed in every bar, better than a doctor or a cinematic star. The organ screaming out a high and a distorted note, a message of the freedom that the ancestors have wrote. It's raw and it is honest and it's unrefined and pure, the only universally and every kind of cure. The bass pedals are thumping like a giant's heavy heart, connecting every person to the musical and art. It's a conversation happening shuffle right, rocking through the Saturday night. The Hammond Groove, a greasy piece of soul, taking back the spirit and the absolute control. A spinning, swirling, happy kind of sonic hurricane, washing out the worry and the temporary pain. Work it. Together in the middle of the sonic sea. Oh, when a beautiful full and wild decree. The heat is rising from the tubes inside the back, keeping us upon the happy and the forward track. It doesn't matter who you are or where you've lately been. The Hammond doesn't care about the virtue or the sin. Just keep the rhythm moving and just keep the spirit high, underneath the ceiling in the smoky urban sky. The final set is starting and the energy is peak. Even if the legs are getting tired and weak, the groove is self-sustaining, it's a perpetual machine. The funkiest experience that I have ever seen. So let the Leslie spin until the morning light appears, chasing out the echoes of the many lonely years. We leave the room and let tracing in inside the bone, feeling less like strangers and feeling less alone. Get on up, settle in, let the Hammond Groove begin. Shuffle left, shuffle right, rocking through the Saturday night. The Hammond Groove, a greasy piece of soul, taking back the spirit and the absolute control. A spinning, swirling, happy kind of sonic hurricane, washing out the worry and the temporary pain. The sonic hurricane, greasy soul. Neon. The city's wearing its jewelry tonight. The rain has turned the asphalt to a mirror made of glass, reflecting every person and the taxis as they pass. The neon signs are bleeding in a pool of pink and blue, creating a specific and a psychedelic view. The air is thick with mystery and with a silver haze, lost inside the center of the urban midnight maze. The steam is rising from the grates and pillars of the white, disappearing into the belly of the hungry night. Open all night, flickers in a buzz of electric green, the loveliest and the strangest sight that I have ever seen. It promises a coffee or a glass of amber gold, a sanctuary for the tired and the very bold. I watch the colors mixing in the puddles on the street. A liquid masterpiece beneath the walking of the feet. The city isn't sleeping, it's just breathing in the dark, igniting every ego with a tiny neon spark. Glow red, shine bright in the middle of the night. Electric soul, neon heart, everything is a work of art. Smoky neon, burning through the mist, a beauty that the darkness has reluctantly kissed. The rhythm of the city in a flash of color light, guiding us through the labyrinth of the night. The horns are screaming out a story full of fire and grit, and I am loving every single little part of it. They sound like ambition and they sound like a regret, a memory of something that hasn't happened yet. We're walking through the shadows with a swagger in the gait, refusing to be victims of a boring kind of fate. The smoke from the basement drifts up into the cold, a story of a passion that is multifaceted and an old. The piano is a cascade of the ivory and the black, keeping us upon the steady and the forward track. It punctuates the silence with a sophisticated touch, a feeling that I really love and desire very much. The architecture looms above like giants in the shade, witnessing the glory of the urban masquerade. We are but tiny flashes in the great electric scheme, characters inside a beautiful and neon-colored dream. Glow red, shine bright in the middle of the night. Electric soul, neon heart, everything is a work of art. Smoky neon, burning through the mist, a beauty that the darkness has reluctantly kissed. The rhythm of the city in a flash of color light, guiding us through the labyrinth of the night. Shine for me, set me free. I see my own reflection in the window of the shop, waiting for the frantic city energy to stop. But it only gets more intense as the hours go along, matching the vibration of the energetic song. The blue light on the corner is a beacon for the soul, helping us to keep the absolute and total control. We are the night owls flying in the incandescent glare, without a single worry and without a single care. So let the rain keep falling and let the neon shine, a temporary magic that is yours and it is mine. The smoke will eventually dissipate into the air, leaving only memories of a affair. We walk into the future with the colors in the eye, underneath the heavy and the cloudy urban sky. Smoky neon visions are the only thing I need. A hood and a visual and a neon colored creed. Glow red, shine bright in the middle of the night. Electric soul, neon heart, everything is a work of art. Smoky neon, burning through the mist, a beauty that the darkness has reluctantly kissed. The rhythm of the city in a flash of colored light, guiding us through. Take one. The red light is a warning in the corner of the room, dispelling all the silence and dispelling all the gloom. The microphones are waiting for the truth to be revealed, a destiny of melody that's finally been sealed. We stand around the instruments of brass and of the wood, creating something honest and creating something good. The tape is rolling slowly, catching every single breath, a musical defiance of the silence and of death. The trumpet player tilts the bell towards the silver stand, the coolest and the sharpest inspiration in the land. He plays a phrase of logic and he plays a phrase of fire, taking the ambition just a little bit higher. The saxophone is weaving in and out of every line, a structural and beautiful and intricate design. This is the sound of blue note, this is the sound of soul, a masterpiece of freedom and of absolute control. The piano is the architect of every single bar, reaching for the heavens and reaching for the stars. Block chords like the buildings in the middle of the street, making the sophisticated composition feel complete. We don't need a map because the rhythm is the guide, with absolutely nowhere for the spirit left to hide. It's an intellectual and a visceral affair, hanging in the dusty and the heavy studio air. Record the sound, feel the heat, moving to the blue note beat. Improvisation is the key to set the human spirit free. Blue Note Serenade, a legacy of cool, playing by the ancient and the mathematical rule. A revolution happening inside the minor key, the definition of the modern soul and liberty. The drum kit is an engine that is running perfectly, providing all the energy and the stability. The ride cymbal is shimmering like light upon the wave, a rhythm for the adventurous and for the very brave. The bass is like the anchor in the middle of the storm, allowing all the melodies to shift and to transform. conversation, then we let it all release, finding in the chaos a specific kind of peace. There are no mistakes, there are only accidents of grace. In this sophisticated and this musical of space, we talk together through the instruments of metal and of air, a conversation that is universally and rare. The engineer is nodding from behind the window glass, watching the creative and the golden moments pass. This is the art of living in the center of the now, without a single compromise and without a single vow. The session is a journey to a place we've never been, the finest kind of exploration that I've ever seen. Hard bop is the language of the city and the mind, leaving the traditional and the boring far behind. It's got a bit of edge and it's got a bit of grit, and I am loving every single little part of it. The blue note is the standard and the blue note is the aim, giving the experience its beautiful and lasting name. Record the sound, feel the heat, move into the blue note beat. Improvisation is the key to set the human spirit free. Blue note serenade, a legacy of cool, playing by the ancient and the mathematical rule. A revolution happening inside the minor key, the definition of the modern soul and liberty. Sing it out, bring it out, The final chorus starts and we are flying in the sky, watching all the ordinary moments go on by. The unison is perfect, like a single human voice, confirming the validity of every single choice. The recording is a monument to what we felt tonight, a beacon of wash it all away. The clouds have opened up their heavy arms of gray.
to wash away the dust and the exhaustion of the day. The city is a watercolor painting in the light, distorted by the liquid of the heavy urban night. Every rooftop is a drum, every pavement is a stage, turning the story to a brand new and watery page. I find a little shelter in the doorway of the shop, waiting for the frantic city energy to stop. The street lamps are like golden moons reflected in the wet, an image of a beauty that I haven't finished yet. The tires of the taxis make a splashing kind of sound, a rhythm that is constant and is rooted in the ground. It sounds like soul and it sounds like a prayer, hanging in the humid and the heavy city air. I don't need an umbrella because the rain is like a friend, a promise that the dry and dusty days will finally end. The humidity is rising like a mist from off the lake, a comfort for the spirit and the heart that's about to break. The rhythm of the fallen is a steady kind of beat, cooling down the anger and the burning of the street. I see the people running for the shelter of the bar, but I am happy standing exactly where we are, lost inside the center of the rainy city soul, giving up the burden and the absolute control. Let it fall, let it flow, watch the city start to glow. Rhythm of the rain, washing out the pain. Rainy city soul, a melody of wet and blue, a sanctuary created for me and created for you, a spiritual experience inside the urban storm, where the weary spirit can eventually transform. The steam is rising from the manholes in a spiral of the white, like ghosts that are dancing in the middle of the night. The architecture softens in the hazy kind of view, a perspective that is beautiful and absolutely new. The neon signs are blurred into a soft and color glow, reflected in the river that is moving soft and slow. This is the soul of the city when the noise has died away, a prelude to the breaking of the coming morning day. I breathe the oxygen that's been purified by the storm, feeling the connection that is visceral and warm. The rain is like a melody that's written in the sky, a symphony of droplets as the clouds go floating by. It washes out the ego and it washes out the pride, with absolutely nowhere for the vanity to hide. Just the purity of water and the purity of sound, a holy kind of magic that is scattered on the ground. The organ in the background is a warm and steady hum, like the vibration of a very distant spiritual drum. It provides the foundation for the piano and the flute, a message of the beauty that is absolute and mutable. We don't need words to understand the message of the rain. It speaks of the endurance and it speaks of the gain. A rainy city soul is a resilient kind of thing, waiting for the silence of the morning to begin. Let it fall, let it flow, watch the city start to glow. Rhythm of the rain, washing out the pain. Rainy city soul, a melody of red and blue, a sanctuary created for me and created for you, a spiritual experience inside the urban storm, where the weary spirit can eventually transform. Drip drop, so soft. The storm begins to slow down to a gentle little mist, a beauty that the darkness has reluctantly kissed. The clouds are breaking up to show a single lonely star, a reminder of how beautiful and tiny that we are. I step out from the shelter and I walk into the street with the rhythm of the soul inside the walking of the feet. The city is refreshed and it is ready to begin, cleansed of every worry and of every little sin. So thank you for the water, and thank you for the soul, for helping me to regain the absolute and total control. The rainy city magic is a thing that I will keep long after the remainder of the world is fast asleep. It's a sanctuary of the mind and of the heart, a masterpiece of nature and a masterpiece of art. Rainy city soul is the only thing I need, a spiritual and a watery and a living kind of creed. Let it fall, let it flow, wash it out. Rainy city soul, a melody of wet and blue, a sanctuary created for me and created for you, a spiritual experience inside the urban storm, where the weary spirit can eventually transform. Drip drop, so soft. Healing, lift me up. When the shadows of the world are leaning heavy on the chest, and the spirit is exhausted, searching for a place to rest, I turn the dial of the soul and let the music flood the room, a radiant light that's shining through the temporary gloom. The Hammond bellows out a message of ancient holy grace, transforming the interior and the solitary space. It sounds like forgiveness, and it sounds like a homecoming beneath the silver moonlight and the gentle rhythmic drumming. The saxophone is reaching for the heavens high above, a conversation made of passion and of universal love. It tells me that the sorrow is a season that will pass, reflected in the clarity of the musical glass. I feel the vibration moving through the marrow and the bone, reminding me that I am never truly all alone. The blue is turning golden in the center of the sound, a spiritual experience that is sacred and profound. Sing for me, play for me, set the heavy burden free, a serenade for the soul, making the fragmented whole. Soul Serenade, a prayer without a single spoken word, the loveliest frequency that the heart has ever heard, a sanctuary built of melody and rhythmic deep desire, baptizing every feeling in the cool and blue fire. The piano is a river flowing constant and it's wide, carrying the secrets that we often try to hide. It washes over every scar and washes every stain,
turning all the loss into a spiritual gain. We don't need a cathedral made of glass and made of stone when the music creates a temple that is purely of our own. The air is thick with incense made of melody and air, a magnificent and beautiful and solitary prayer. I close my eyes and I can see the colors of the song, a place where the experience and the spirit can belong. It's the wisdom of the elders and the promise of the youth, the only universally lent kind of truth. The rhythm is a heartbeat that is steady and is true, connecting every person and connecting me and you. The Soul Serenade is a legacy of light, guiding us through the labyrinth of the heavy city night. Sing for me, play for me, set the heavy burden free. A serenade for the soul, making the fragmented whole. Serenade, a prayer without a single spoken word, the loveliest frequency that the heart has ever heard. A sanctuary built of melody and rhythmic deep desire, baptizing every feeling in the cool and blue fire. Hallelujah, in the blue. Like a dust upon the floor, I am not the person that I was an hour before. The piece is like a velvet cloth, it's soft and it is deep, giving me the comfort and the promise of the sleep. The Soul Serenade has done its work of mercy and of art, restoring the equilibrium of the weary human heart. The blue is faded now into a gentle kind of gray, a prelude to the breaking of the coming morning day. So let the Hammond whisper and let the saxophone depart, leaving only beauty in the center of the heart. The music is the bridge between the earth and the divine, a permanent and beautiful and intricate design. We walk into the future with the rhythm in the gate, refusing to be victims of a heavy kind of fate. Soul Serenade is ringing like a bell inside the head, long after every single word of love has been said. Sing for me, play for me, set the heavy burden free. A serenade for the soul, making the fragmented whole. Serenade, a prayer without a single spoken word, the loveliest frequency that the heart has ever heard, baptizing every feeling in the cool and blue fire. A sanctuary built of melody in the blue and blue fire.
one foot after the other. The pavement is a drum, and the shoes are the beat. Walking through the shadows of the empty city street. The skyscrapers are watching like the sentries in the dark, leaving on the atmosphere a professional and cool mark. The rhythm of the cadence is a heartbeat in the soul, giving me the absolute and total control. I don't need a destination, and I don't need a map, escaping from the gravity in an urban trap. Every street lamp is a spotlight on the cinematic stage, writing my own history upon the city page. The neon signs are nodding as I pass them by the way, chasing out the echoes of the busy, busy day. The blue is in the walking, and the blue is in the gate, refusing to be pushed around by the hands of fate. I've got the spirit moving in the center of the vein, ignoring every particle of the temporary pain. Step by step, slow and cool, playing by the blue, no rules. City rhythm, urban soul, keeping everything in control. The blue walk, a journey through the indigo night, bathed in the reflection of the artificial light. A rhythmic and a soulful and a confident decree, the definition of the spirit and of liberty. The saxophone is singing with a swagger and a grin, where the city story and my own story begin. It sounds like high ambition, and it sounds like a regret, a memory of something that hasn't happened yet. We're navigating through the maze of iron and a stone, feeling very comfortable being all alone. The isolation is a weapon, and the music is the shield. Everything the night has got to offer is revealed. I pass a lonely taxi with its light upon the roof, a solitary messenger of the urban truth. We exchange a look of silence and a look of understanding before the eagle of the morning is eventually landing. The bass is like the architecture, solid and it's deep, providing all the energy that the weary people keep. The blue walk is a therapy for the restless and the mind, leaving all the heavy baggage far and far behind. Step by step, slow and cool, playing by the blue, no rules. City rhythm, urban soul, keeping everything in control. The blue walk, a journey through the indigo night, bathed in the reflection of the artificial light. A rhythmic and a soulful and a confident decree, the definition of the spirit and of liberty. Ba-da-ba-da, walk. Keep moving.
The horizon is beginning to turn a lighter shade, but the magic of the blue walk will never really fade. It lives inside the memory of the muscle and the bone, the strongest and the coolest feeling I have ever known. The city is my playground and the city is my home. No matter where I wander and no matter where I roam, I find a sanctuary in the movement and the beat, making every ordinary moment look so sweet. The final set is ending and the sun is on the rise. I see the golden orange in the center of the eyes. But I'll be back tomorrow when the world turns back to blue, to start the river journey for me and for you. The blue walk is a legacy of the rhythm and the soul, for helping me to regain the absolute and total control. So keep the bass walking and just keep the spirit high, underneath the heavy and the cloudy urban sky. Step by step, slow and cool, playing by the blue, no rules. City rhythm, urban soul, keeping everything in control. The blue walk, a journey through the indigo night, bathed in the reflection of the artificial light. A rhythmic and a soulful and a confident decree, the definition of the spirit and of liberty. Spirit and liberty. Keep on walking, keep on walking, cool. Candle flame is dancing in a circle of the gold, a story of the comfort that is ancient and is old. The shadows are like velvet on mahogany wood. Everything is feeling exactly as it should. The glass is heavy in the hand, a solid kind of weight, a sanctuary from the chaos and the hands of fate. The bourbon has the color of the sunset in the hills, providing all the remedies for the everyday chills. The ice is clinking softly like a bell inside the glass, watching all the heavy hours slowly, slowly pass. The aroma is evoking of the smoking of the earth, reminding us of everything the silence is worth. The organ in the corner is a warm and steady hum, matching the vibration of the internal drum. We're sitting in the shadows where the light can't reach the eye, underneath the ceiling in the smoky urban sky. Sip it slow, let it glow, watch the golden feelings flow. Warmth inside, peace of mind, leave the noisy world behind. Candlelight and bourbon, a medicine for soul, giving back the spirit the absolute control. A
sacred fire travels down and warms the blood and vein, erasing every particle of the temporary pain. It tastes of history and it tastes of the deep south, a symphony of flavor in the center of the mouth. The guitar man is playing with a tender and a light touch, a feeling that I really love and desire very much. It weaves a tapestry of sound around the candlelight, a perfect decoration for the middle of the night. We talk in whispers, or we don't talk at all tonight, basking in the aura of the artificial light. The connection is a visceral and a spiritual thing, waiting for the morning and the sunrise to begin. The atmosphere is heavy with the scent of aging wood, the definition of the beautiful and of the good. The candlelight and bourbon is a ritual of peace, giving the exhausted soul let it release. Sip it slow, let it glow. Watch the golden feelings flow, warmth inside, peace of mind. Leave the noisy world behind. Candlelight and bourbon, a medicine for soul, giving back the spirit, the absolute control. A mellow and a soulful and a golden kind of dream. Everything is exactly what it seems. Deep gold, story told. Outside is cold and it is busy and it's loud, but here we are invisible inside the golden cloud, protected by the layers of the music and the smoke, where the heavy burden is a temporary joke. I see the amber liquid reflecting the tiny flame, a magical experience without a proper name. Just a candlelight and bourbon and the Hammond B3 sound, the finest kind of sanctuary that I have ever found. So let the guitar whisper and let the organ swell, casting a romantic and a soulful kind of spell. The night is almost over, but the warmth will stay with me, a permanent and beautiful and golden memory. We leave the bar and step into the chilly morning air, carrying the comfort and the spirit everywhere. Candlelight and bourbon is the air every other night, for helping us to face the coming and the blinding light. Sip it slow, let it glow. Watch the golden feelings flow, warmth inside, peace of mind. Leave the noisy world behind. Candlelight and bourbon, a medicine for soul.
Wake up the soul. The sun is rising with a message that is loud and clear, chasing out the shadows and the many years of fear. The Hammond B3 is screaming out an anthem of the joy, a spirit that the world could never ever quite destroy. The horns are standing up and they are shouting to the sky, telling every person that the hope will never die. It's the gospel truth, it's a rhythm that is built on fire, taking the ambition and the energy high. I feel it in the fingers and I feel it in the feet, a celebration happening in the middle of the street. The energy is flowing like a river that is wide, with absolutely nowhere for the spirit left to hide. It's got a bit of church and it's got a bit of blues, the only kind of religion that I'm ever gonna choose. We're building up the power and we're building up the light, exterminating every single particle of night. Shout it out, sing it loud, rising up above the cloud. Tell the truth, feel the flame, everything is not the same. Gospel truth, a ribbon and a soulful jubilee, setting every captive and every spirit free. A fire in the organ and a fire in the heart, the finest kind of masterpiece of spiritual hitting hard and he is hitting with a grin, where the victory and where the celebration begins. It sounds like high salvation and it sounds like a new day, chasing all the heavy and the weary blues away. The congregation's nodding and the congregation sway by the magnificent and the beautiful parade of sounding of the spirit and of the absolute power. This is the arrival of the high and golden hour. The bass is like the thunder in the center of the storm, allowing every person to eventually transform. We don't need a building and we don't need a creed, when the music provides everything that we possibly need. It's an honest kind of feeling and it's unrefined and raw, obeying only nature's and the wind of holy law. The gospel truth is ringing like a trumpet in the ear, making the direction of the future crystal clear. Shout it out, sing it loud, rising up above the cloud. Tell the truth, feel the flame, everything is not the same. Gospel truth, a rhythmic and a soulful jubilee, setting every captive and every spirit free. A fire in the organ and a fire in the heart, the finest kind of masterpiece of spiritual art. Ba-da-ba-ba, shout mercy. Reflected in the center of the crowd, the spirit is rising and the spirit is very proud. We found the salvation in the center of the beat, making every ordinary moment look so sweet. The Hammond B3's burning with an incandescent glow, helping us to keep the absolute and total control. We are the survivors and we are the witnesses of light, moving out of darkness and moving out of night. So let the brass section blow until the walls come down. There's a new vibration happening inside the town. The gospel truth is permanent and it is here to stay, guiding us along the happy and the forward way. We leave the room with electricity in it inside the bone, feeling less like strangers and feeling less alone. So thank you for the rhythm and thank you for the soul, for making the fragmented and the broken spirit whole. Shout it out, sing it loud, rising up above the cloud. Tell the truth, feel the flame, everything is not the same. spirit free. The finest kind of masterpiece of spiritual art. The blue is changing. The inky black of midnight starts to slowly fade away, preparing for the arrival of the coming morning day. The skyline cuts a silhouette against the sapphire sky, watching the many stars begin to whisper and to die. The air is fresh and cold, and it is purified and clean, the loveliest perspective that I've ever seen. The Hammonds humming softly like a morning prayer bell, casting a magnificent and a beautiful spell. A ribbon of the orange and a ribbon of the gold, a story of the resurrection, ancient and it's old, is painted on the horizon by the master of the light, ending the long duration of the heavy city night. The buildings catch the color on the spires of the height, turning into pillars of the incandescent white. The blue is turning radiant, it's turning into day, chasing all the shadows and the mysteries away. I stand upon the corner and I take a breath of air, leaving the exhaustion and the burden of despair. The rhythm of the city starts to wake and starts to hum, the heartbeat of the daily and the industry's drum. But in this quiet moment I am balanced and I'm whole, regaining the absolute and total soul control. The music was the bridge that carried me across the dark, leaving on the atmosphere a permanent and soul mark. Rise up, look high, color filling up the sky, from the blue to the light, and in the duration of night. Dawn in blue, the promise of the coming of the sun. The journey is over, but it's only just begun. A transition of the spirit and a transition of the heart, the final and the beautiful and the majestic part. The streets are getting busier as people start to wake, joining the vibration and the action for the sake of moving a future and a moving in a hope, a wider and a beautiful and a panoramic scope. The organ's getting louder and the strings are rising too, celebrating everything for me and everything for you. The blue was a sanctuary, but the light is the destination. I'm the image and a spiritual and a soul graduation. I see the gold reflecting in the window of the bank, giving the universe a silent word of deep thanks for the midnight blue, for the gospel and the groove, for the opportunity to eventually improve. The music stays inside me like a fire in the bone, helping me to face shine on. Skies, the blue has gone completely. It's a world of gold and white, victorious over every single particle of night. The soul jazz is the anthem that we carry in the soul, making the fragmented and the broken spirit whole. So welcome to the morning, and so welcome to the day, walking on the happy and the forward in that way. The hammer makes a final and a resonant decree, a statement of the spirit and a statement of the free. The blue was our protector and the blue was our friend, a journey that has come to its magnificent end. I packed the music safely in the pocket of the heart, ready for the reality in the everyday to start. Dawn in blue is ringing like a trumpet in the ear, making the direction of the future crystal clear.